Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Explore. In this tutorial, we are going to assemble the power transmission components of Boxer 8 engine. At first, we are going to assemble with Sprocket chain mechanism, and then we are going to use an alternative method which is built-in pulley. Remember, if your PC is not too powerful, then it may slow down during chain sprocket assembly and cause serious problem during motion study. To avoid these problems, I recommend to use belt pulley method which shown after the chain sprocket assembly. Click on insert component and go to sprocket chain, then select crank sprocket and cam sprocket. Then click on open, place it here. Press Ctrl and select these two surfaces, then click on mate, select concentric and click OK. Now select the key slot surfaces, select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate, expand insert component and select copy with mates. Then select the sprocket and click on next. Select this surface and then the key slot surface. Then click OK. Now press Ctrl and select these two surfaces. Then click on mate. Select coincident and click OK. Now select this surface, expand advanced mate and select width. Now select this surface and select both sides of the crank sprocket. Then click OK. Now close the mate. Now press Ctrl and select this surface and this surface. Then click on mate. Select concentric and click OK. Now rotate the camshaft. Select the key slot surfaces. Select coincident and click OK. Now click on insert component and select copy with mate. Then select the cam sprocket. Select this surface and then select the key slot surface. Then click OK. Repeat the same process for these two camshafts. Now close the mate. Press Ctrl and select these two surfaces. Then click on mate. Select coincident and click OK. Now select these two surfaces. Select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate. Now expand any of these two cam sprocket and select the mid plane of it, which is plane 4. And select the mid plane of the first crank sprocket. Then click on mate. Select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate. Now expand the second crank sprocket and select the mid plane of it, which is plane 6 here. And then expand any of these two cam sprocket and select the mid plane of it. Then select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate. Now we need to synchronize all of the engine components. Rotate the crankshaft and put the first piston at the top dead center. Now place the intake valve as it is almost open. And place the exhaust valve as it is almost closed. So the first cylinder is placed at the beginning of intake stroke. After 90 degrees of intake stroke in the first cylinder, the fourth cylinder will be in intake phase. So the camshaft will be 45 degrees inferior to the previous one. Now expand assembly and select belt chain. Now select this circle of the cam sprockets and this circle of the crank sprocket. Now click on belt location plane, expand assembly and select mid plane of any of the sprocket. Now click on use belt thickness and here input 5 mm. Then click OK. Now repeat the same process for right side. Click on insert component and select chain inner part and chain outer part. Then click on open. Place them here. Now expand linear component pattern and select chain component pattern. Select the third path method. Then expand assembly. Go to the bottom. Expand belt and select the belt path sketch. Select chain group 1 and select the inner chain part. Select these two whole surfaces. It asks for chain alignment path. Expand inner chain part and select the mid plane of it, which is plane 1 here. Click on chain group 2 and select the outer chain part and select these two surfaces. Then select the mid plane of the outer chain part, which is plane 2 here. Click on fill path. Increase one more in quantity so there will be no gap. Then click OK. Now repeat the same process for the other side also. Now press Ctrl and select all of these sketches. Now right click over them and select hide. Now click on Mate, expand mechanical mate, select gear, select this surface and this surface. Then click OK. Now we will assemble with belt and pulley. So click on insert component, select cam pulley and crank pulley, then click on open. Press Ctrl and select these two surfaces, then click on mate, select concentric and click OK. Then select this surface and this surface, select coincident and click OK. Now select the key slot surfaces, then select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate, expand insert component and select copy with mate. Select the pulley, then click on next. Select this surface, skip the middle one and then click on the last box, then select this surface, then click OK. Now close the mate, click on mate, expand advanced mate and select width. Now select these two surfaces of the crankshaft, then select both sides of the pulley. Now select this surface and this surface, go to standard mate and select concentric, then click OK. Now select this surface and this surface, select coincident and click OK. Now select the key slot surfaces, select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate, expand insert component and select copy with mate, select the cam pulley, then click on next. Skip the middle box and go to the last one and select this surface. Then click OK. Now do the similar process for the last camshaft. Now click OK. Now click on Mate. Select this surface and this surface. Select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate. Collapse all of these items so it will be easy to find the proper one. Now expand the second crank pulley. Click on the pulley so here blue color will be shown to identify it. Then select the front plane, which is the mid plane of the pulley. Expand any of these two cam pulley and select the mid plane of it, which is the front plane. Then click on Mate. Select coincident and click OK. Now close the mate. Now we need to synchronize all of the engine components. Rotate the crankshaft and place the first piston to the top dead center. Here engine rotation is clockwise. Place all of the components as the beginning of intake stroke. Place the intake valve just before it is completely open. Place the exhaust valve as it is almost closed. In 80-degree crank rotation, the last piston will be in intake stroke. So the camshaft will be 90-degree inferior to the first one. So place the intake and exhaust valve just 90-degree backward to the first one. Now expand assembly and select belt chain. Now select the outer surfaces of the pulleys. Click on create belt part. Then click OK. Now repeat the same process for creating another belt part. Now go to bottom, expand belt, right click over the belt component and select open part. Now right click over the top plane and select normal to. Right click again and select sketch. Select line. Now draw the belt cross section. Now press escape. Click on smart dimension. Select this line 4 mm and this angle is 120 degree. The distance between these two lines is 2.5 millimeter. Now select this line, then click on for construction, then click OK. Now click on mirror. Now select the sketch and mirror above the center line, then click OK. From features, go to sweep boss base, select the sketch and select the belt path, then click OK. Go to appearance and select mate rubber. Now go to the assembly. Now repeat the same process for another belt also. Now press Ctrl and select all of these sketches. Right click over the sketch and select height. Now rotate the crankshaft and check the assembly.